بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. Today inshallah in dental anatomy at a glance we will talk about the permanent mandibular first premolar. We will start with the landmarks. This is a mesial aspect of the mandibular right first premolar. This is the buccal side and this is the lingual side. We will start with the buccal cusp. This is the buccal cusp. The buccal triangular ridge. This is the buccal triangular ridge. The lingual cusp. It is a small non-occluding cusp, while the buccal cusp is the large one. The mesiolingual developmental groove. This is the mesiolingual developmental groove. The cervical line. The buccal cervical ridge. The mesial contact area. And the mesial marginal ridge. This is the mesial marginal ridge. From occlusal aspect, this is the buccal side, lingual, distal, and mesial. What we can see from occlusal aspect, the buccal cusp and the lingual cusp. These are buccal cusp and lingual cusp. We also see the distobuccal cusp ridge and the mesiobuccal cusp ridge. The distobuccal cusp ridge and the mesiobuccal cusp ridge. The distal marginal ridge and the mesial marginal ridge. This is the distal marginal ridge and this is the mesial marginal ridge. This is the buccal triangular ridge and the central developmental groove and the mesiolingual developmental groove. This is the mesiolingual developmental groove. Now we have a note that the mandibular first premolar is situated between the mandibular canine and the mandibular second premolar and has some characteristics common to both of them. Now we will start with the characteristics of the mandibular first premolar that resembles those of the mandibular canine. The first one is that the buccal cusp is long, sharp, and is the only occluding cusp. This is the buccal cusp. It is long, sharp, and is the only occluding cusp, just like the mandibular canine. The second characteristic resembling the mandibular canine is that the occlusal surface slopes sharply lingually in cervical direction. What does that mean? This is the occlusal surface. It is sloping lingually in cervical direction. So the occlusal surface is sloping just like this. The crown has a shape when viewed from mesial or distal aspect, just like this. So the occlusal surface sloping lingually in cervical direction. Now we will talk about the characteristics that resembles those of the second mandibular premolar. So the mandibular premolars, both of them have some characteristics similar to each other. The first one is that the contact areas, mesially and distally, are near the same level in both of the mandibular premolars. The curvature of cervical line, mesially and distally, is similar in both of the mandibular premolars. And the third characteristic is that the tooth has more than one cusp. We said that in the mandibular first premolar, the lingual cusp is the lingual cusp is small and non-occluding, but it is present. Now we will talk about the characteristics common to all mandibular first premolars when viewed from occlusal aspect. When we view the mandibular first premolar from occlusal aspect, we have some characteristics that common to all of that are common to this tooth. The first one is that the buccal ridge is prominent. This is the buccal cervical ridge, as you can see. When viewed from occlusal aspect, we can see the buccal cervical ridge prominent. This is the buccal cervical ridge. We can see it from occlusal aspect. The second characteristic common to all mandibular first premolar is that the lingual cusp is small. This is the occlusal aspect. I use the mesial aspect. This is mesial aspect, but I use it just to show you how the lingual cusp is small. The third characteristic is that the occlusal surface show a heavy buccal triangular ridge. This is the buccal triangular ridge. It is a heavy ridge, heavily developed. This feature is common to all mandibular first premolars when viewed from occlusal aspect. So thank you for watching, and in the next video inshallah we will talk about the permanent mandibular second premolar. في أمان الله.